how I meditate. My friends, let's dive in to the process and cultivation of a meditation practice and really where to begin, how to level up wherever you're at. At the bottom line, my friends, we run through this life oftentimes in constant chaos. We're not even aware of all these flitting thoughts running through our mind, how they're leaking energy. And when we have chaos inside, our life becomes more aimless, more chaotic, and we leak our power. Meditation is not just about finding, mindfulness or inner stillness, It's essentially about the learning and the cultivation of one's dynamic energy flow and the control of life force. When we learn to control our life force, we learn to control our life. And if we want to be the masters of our destiny, right, we must learn to be the masters of our mind. And this is what meditation is at the bottom line. How do we go about a systematic way of learning to, become aware of the mind and how to master it, how to be sovereign within? So much of my recent content, I have this video on stop leaking energy, a lot of videos on sovereignty, and all of it starts at the breath, okay? All of it starts at the breath. Breath is spirit, spiritus, to breathe. And when we're in alignment with the breath, we're in alignment with spirit. And when we're breathing deeply, we're at a higher frequency. We're liberating locked energy, locked consciousness from the body, right? Into higher states of consciousness where we can receive, higher insight, right? We can activate, heal, do magic. All of this stuff comes from a platform of meditation or mental mastery. So let's dive in, my friends. That was a brief intro. If you guys want to get my Breathwork free training guide, link in the description for that. Furthermore, I'm being heavily shadow banned on YouTube. So I really appreciate every time you share this with someone you think will impact and hit that like button. So meditation's hard for a lot of people, okay? Because we live in a very stimulating world. At the bottom line, to start getting into a meditation practice, stop thinking of it as meditation, start thinking of it as breath work, okay? This is where I began. I began this journey like 4 or 5 years back with getting into breath work and energy work. And by simply consciously breathing deeply into that lower diaphragm area, right? Into the navel, right? Bringing the air in slowly, right? Holding for a moment and then controlling the exhale. And by fully engaging with the breath, right? And bringing that pattern deep, low, slow, and even, right? The mind will become one-pointed. The mind will gain one-pointedness. This is an ancient yoga idea and knowledge, that by focusing on the breath, by focusing on the subtle energy around you, right, we can bring the mind into our control. Instead of looking at a blank wall or trying to let our mind become still, concentrate it on breathing. And when we concentrate the mind on breathing, the breath gets deeper, right? The body falls into harmony and openness with the breath, right? And the mind falls into harmony with the body. This is meditation, my friends. It is creating a harmonic vehicle, a single vibrational chamber in which we're in, where we can create from. We can't do all the creation that we want to do in the world until we can get into the space of creation within. Okay? If we want to be sovereign in our lives or the king of our reality, we must be the king or queen of our vibration, of our inner reality. The next video I want to make is on the mind-body prana feedback loop. But let's continue on here, my friends. So for starters, for people just getting out here, just trying to explore meditation or stuck on it, focus on deeply breathing. Hold your body in a aligned posture, right? Use your will to master your body and focus your mind on your breath for just 10 minutes every morning. Do that for 10 minutes every morning. You're going to be amazed at the results, okay? That's where I began, okay? 6 months ago, a few months ago, I decided, I'm going to create a ritualistic practice, a single practice that I develop, that I cultivate every single day, and I take it deeper every day. And lately, I've been meditating, at least an hour to 2 hours every day, a lot of breath work, right? And this is the meditation practice, and this is what it looks like for me. So, first off, my friends, aspiration. You can't get into this kind of meditation practice, and I couldn't get into this meditation practice without significant inspiration to do so. Really wanting it. Really wanting to become master of my mind, because I see the chaos that's consistently erupting into my life. Because this shit is aimless, distracted, and leaking energy, right? I wanted to become a yogi. I wanted to, realize the ancient wisdom and like what the masters of old are teaching. And you can't learn magic. You can't learn that kind of knowledge unless you got the mind under control. It's like the infant step almost. So I was like, you know what? I got to commit. So find your significant aspiration, whether it's to be more mindful, have more even-mindedness, more peace, more energy, more harmony, more alignment with spirit, whatever it is, know your why. Okay, that's what's going to fuel the practice. Now you need to create a system. What I do is every morning, right after I drink water, I get into my meditation place, right? I sit down, and step one, I hold my body in aligned stillness. Master your body with the cerements, or basically master your body with your will. Hold your body in perfect evenness, aligned openness. I like to think of it as perfectly stacked, because by holding your body in aligned openness, your mind will come to reflect it. Just by doing that, you will be meditating very soon, okay? And we're gonna get into what I think meditation truly is towards the end of this video, so stay tuned here. So that's step one, right? I like to sit on the edge of a chair, okay, with my back upright, or I have sitting pillows, right? And I go into lotus, sitting on the sitting pillow. But I personally love meditating outside, so I find this like a small hill, find good, basically find a posture that I can hold for at least 30 minutes to an hour, right? You don't want blood to be cut off and flow and whatnot. Posture, step one. Step two, my friends, breath, level one. So once I get into my posture, right, I get into a deep breathing pattern. What I do is I bring my awareness into my navel, into my lower abdomen, into the cradle of my hips, and I start breathing, maybe 5 seconds in, 10 seconds out. 5 seconds in, hold for a moment, 10 seconds out. And I start fully engaging with the breath. This is going to bring centeredness and one-pointedness to your mind, which is essential for the next steps into this meditation technique. So you start breathing. Essentially let your breath rhythm be low, slow, even, deep, and rhythmic, right? This is going to start cultivating chi in the body. It's going to start creating dynamic energy circulation. It's going to bring your mind into one-pointedness, okay? While we're doing that, I should have mentioned this right before the breath, but while we're doing that, what we want to do is have our attitude, our mental attitude is so important. Oftentimes we're like resisting, we have attachments, we have fear, we have scarcity going on, there's a lot of things going on. Maybe our body hurts, maybe we're in pain, maybe we feel weak, maybe we have disease, whatever it is, right? Your mental attitude has to be one of a gentle eyes and inner smile. Just a hint of a smile inside, my friends. Because what you're doing is you're practicing the ideal state. When you're breathing, practice the ideal state. Practice the state of the master. In yoga philosophy, there's this really cool idea of the seen and the seer, right? The seen world, your thoughts, your feelings, how your body's shaped, formed, how it feels, everything you possess, everything in your reality is constantly changing. The only thing that is unchanging, the only thing eternal is the perspective, the observer behind it. And I like to think of him inside of me as this like smiling sage, this master kind of with a hint of laughter at all these different polarities going on down here, right? And I attune to him, because by attuning to him, you're going to be breathing into perfect alignment, perfect energy flow. If we're trying to meditate, but we're resisting, we're holding, we're reacting, right? We don't know of the master within, we're going to get nowhere. We need to have the mental attitude of gentle peace, calmness, and aspiration into the master's eyes. Step 3. So after you warmed up with some deep breathing into that lower tummy, right? I really like doing subtle current energy work, kind of. So essentially, I alter my breath pattern a little bit, but I aim my focus at certain energy points in my body. I start with my root, right? My perineum, right? And I start breathing and feeling my whole legs. Every breath, I imagine I'm breathing up through my whole legs, exhaling and letting my legs go, right? Then I go up my back a little ways, right to the center of my lower back. And I start breathing, right, through all my through all my intestines, through basically my lower back. I focus my awareness. You see, chi goes where energy flows, and it's much better to focus your mind on the subtle currents than try any other form of meditation in my mind. Because the subtle currents is what's going to bring harmony to your mind, because your mind is literally your nervous system. So if you breathe into your nervous system and create harmony, you're doing a double whammy, because you're focusing the mind and creating harmony in the network that runs the mind, right? Like basically the vehicle of the mind here on earth plane. So I start breathing through my spine, right? I start breathing through different energy points. You can go check out Montauk Chia's work, okay? And I do that for maybe another 10 minutes. So 10 minutes of breath work into my lower tummy, 10 minutes of energy point activation work, and really starting to cultivate chi in the body, really starting to awaken my life force, right? After that, I go into a pranayama technique. And this pranayama technique is cultivating and breathing energy up your spine, right? All the practices up until now, we're doing it through the nose. We're locking the tongue to the roof of our mouth, right? And we're essentially focusing, fully engaging with the breath. You don't need to make this shit complicated, my friends. Just do the breath. Fully engage with it. Every time your mind gets distracted, bring your concentration back. It might be hard for more than 30 seconds at the beginning, but do this every day, just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, until you're hitting that, hour, 2 hour, 3 hour mark, where you're really communing with the depths of you and the depths of this reality and the depths of alignment. So step 3, we had the breath control, deep into lower abdomen. Step 2, subtle energy points. So continuing with that breath rhythm, focusing on the energy currents in the body. Step 3, pranayama, this technique, I do it through the mouth and I start breathing, right? And I do 14 breaths. And these 14 breaths, what I'm doing is I'm breathing the energy of earth, the subtle current, like a cold tube, up my spine slowly, like this. And I bring it up my spine. I feel it go through every vertebrae, right? Up around my crown and center into, that eyebrow ridge area, right into that third eye. And then I lock for a moment. I lock my tongue to the roof of my mouth, and I've already sucked up the energy. I've already sucked up my internal organs, right? And I let the energy sit there for a moment. And then I exhale and I let it go back down, okay? And I do 12 to 14 breaths like that. On the final breath, I bring that energy up into that area of my head. And essentially, I hold my awareness right there, right in the center of your third eye, basically. This is a really ancient yoga technique. Okay? And you hold your awareness there, and you let your breath pattern return to that deep, slow, rhythmic breathing through the nose while holding your awareness there. Okay? From there, what we do is we practice a samadhi type meditation, or perfect evenness, perfect countenance, perfect concentration. This is where meditation begins in a way. Up until this point, we've been doing breath work. We've been bringing the mind to one pointedness through focusing on the breath and then focusing on the subtle energy, right? At this point, what I do is now I imagine my mind as this field around me, and I bring my mind to reflect my body and reflect my breath. Perfect evenness, right? And I start breathing into perfect alertness and perfect concentration on the shining light coming through my head, right? And essentially, I just see how long can I remain there in that stillness, in that perfect evenness. At this point, let your breath be silent. See how slow, how deep, how controlled your breathing can be. When you can control your breath to the point where you're doing 10, 15 second inhales, 10, 15 second holds, 10, 15 second exhales, 10, 15 second holds, in perfect silence, you are doing real pranayama, which means breath control. And that breath control with the single pointed awareness on the state of samadhi, or the sun state, or the perfect illumination, perfect awareness. And honestly, my friends, let me be honest with you. If I get 5 minutes in that state, that's a joyous success. If I get 5 minutes of real meditation in 2 hours of practice, that's amazing. That's where I'm at right now. It's not easy. And the more you get into it, the more aware of your mind you become. You're like, holy shit. This thing has distraction after distraction after aimless wandering. Something's always coming up and it's so subtle. I don't even notice it come into my awareness. What can I do about that? Right? Well, practice your meditation every day. Make a practice for yourself. Start it really small so you can be consistent with it. Maybe it's just breathing, right? Maybe it's just subtle points activation. Whatever it is, get your practice going. It's just 10 minutes of deep breathing in the morning, my friends. Right? As you progress that practice, you're going to realize this block that I'm talking about right now. It's so difficult to keep your mind fixed on that point. You know, yogis practice for thousands of years, basically, to get into that state continuously. Okay? What we also can do is practice something called yama in our life. Yama means control. Control of essentially of the excitements or the passions of the mind. By letting our life be more calm and pure, right? Our mind is not moved so much. It's almost like a gentle breeze, not gale winds off the sea. It's a gentle breeze through the palm leaves, right? We can bring our mind, essentially, like I'm looking at my attachments in my life. I'm looking at what my mind wants. Like the other morning, I was doing a meditation up on top of Sedona, and the guy, walked up the mountain to where I was at sunrise and started playing the flute. And the whole meditation, I wanted to go talk to him. I wanted to make a new friend or something, And it didn't pan out, it didn't work out, whatever. And then that meditation was kind of ruined. And it was like, wow, my mind has all this excitement about meeting new conscious brothers, right? Because I don't have enough faith that God will bring the right people into my life at the right time. Right? That's yama. That's control of that excitement, of the passions of the mind, right? We can do that in how we eat, how we sleep, okay? What we indulge in, okay? Can we indulge less and lust, right? All the pornography or masturbation, all that stuff, that brings a lot of images into the mind. The chaos, the emotional toxicity in your life, right? All the YouTube and Netflix you mindlessly watch, right? All the overeating, all the over or under sleeping, all the extra stimulation, all this stuff is creating deeper attachments in the mind. What we must do is slowly, step by incremental step. The small step is all steps. We must start removing those things so that we can gain mastery of our mind. And here's the bottom line, my friends. We cannot do magic at the high level. We cannot be real creators until we learn to own our mind. When we can control our mind, we can literally do anything. You can do anything because you're sovereign. You're not a slave to locked consciousness in base centers of the body, right? You're not a slave to past programs. You're not a slave to reacting to the circumstances of life presenting you. You are no longer in locked consciousness. You are sovereign. And when you're sovereign, you can do anything. This is why mastering the mind is critical. That's why I talk about the breath so much. Because if we really want to take those leaps and bounds to the potential of what we could be, of what man could be, of what you could create in your life, right? We need to learn to master the mind. Yoga, this foundation, true meditation is what I'm talking about here. And how do we get into that? Through the breath, through the energy work, and then into entering into an intentional, aspirational state through the eyes of the master, really bringing into silence and communing with the spirit all around you. Eventually, my friends, when you command your body in perfect discipline with willpower and keep yourself in still alignment, right? And bring your breath under control into a low, deep, still rhythm, right? And you're going to notice every time you have a thought, right? You lose your breath. Bring yourself back to the breath. Keep that rhythm low, deep, right? And slow. Okay. By doing that, you are in communion. You are attuned to the rhythms of life, right? You are in alignment with spirit. Therefore, you can be moved by great spirit. You can get higher ideas, higher downloads, right? You can get higher energy activation. Your DNA wakes up. Your energy wakes up, right? Your life wakes up. Your power, wakes up. 3, let thy life be calm and pure. 4, separate thought from the senses, from the changing world. Identify with the seer and start witnessing. The longer we can practice that, maybe it's just 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds at the end of your meditations, beautiful. Right? At the end of the day, this is going to bring many physical benefits, but ultimately spiritual growth and self-mastery. That's what I'm aiming at. It brings the benefits of, more tranquility, less reactivity, less distracted. And honestly, throughout my days, it's really difficult. You want to eat or go be with friends or watch something or all these different things. But when I'm feeling out of alignment, it's a practice to kind of just breathe for 10 minutes straight right now and bring my mind back to one pointedness and be in alignment with spirit once more. That's where the real movements come from, the true actions, the true alignment, right? So by doing a morning practice and getting with the breath, it's easier to get with the breath throughout the day. It's easier to access those states of the master throughout the day. It's something that needs to be a habitual practice, something you cultivate and grow and expand every day. I'm constantly adapting and changing my system, my practice. Every day I take another small step there, right? I can't wait to see what you create in your life, my friends. If you guys want to work with me, if you're ready to commit to the breath, to meditation, to your sovereignty, I invite you to the intensive breathwork training program. Link in the description for that, where you can apply to talk to me to get more info. It's a really powerful program for those ready to take the leap and apply this kind of knowledge. Thanks for being here, my friends. Again, please share this video. I'm getting shadow banned by YouTube lately. I really appreciate it. And I love the comments below. I always read them and they're always so inspiring to me, inspiring new content. Thanks for being here, my friends. Thanks for being you. May you breathe deep, and may that sun state, may that perfect evenness be with you. Blessings.